start off by saying that yes, I know I am behind on my videos. I have a lot going on. I'm trying my best. But yes, I'm here to talk about episode 2 in season 1. These are just my thoughts and my thoughts only. Oh boy, this episode, I'm going to leave my final thoughts at the end of it. I am gonna go down like major plot points here and there, and then I'm gonna go over some of the things that I had issues with this episode. This episode opens up with Abby and her team are trying to figure out how to get into the compound. He kind of like telling you everything that they have going against them, you know, like they have machine guns and they have power lines and all this kind of stuff, and they're trying to see how to get in order to find Joel. They don't even know if Joel is actually in there, which is a problem, because if you're gonna go through the trouble of getting into this compound, don't you think that maybe making sure that the guy you're after is actually there is very important? Given the information we were given in episode 1, wouldn't it make sense if they just walk in? You're just trying to let anyone in, you know, like everyone's a refugee, let's let them in. Well, why don't they just walk in? They won't be able to maybe take their weapons and stuff, but at least they'll be able to look around, have a lay of the land, have access to food, and you know, that's just my thought though. We go to Jesse and Ellie, and they talk about Adina for a little bit and the fact that Ellie kissed her, and apparently it wasn't her idea. Apparently Dina was high. So knowing that information, Ellie still kissed her. Wouldn't that be considered taking advantage of her? Yeah, they have this kind of conversation and yada yada yada. And there's a lot of expedition dumping in this scene, and there's a problem because it kind of ruins a future scene that happens. Basically, Jesse is telling her about the fact that they found like this horde of infected that are like bunching together in order to keep themselves warm in the winter. I'm just saying that would have been better to have seen, or maybe not have been told that, because it affects the scene later on where it's supposed to be like a big shocking reveal that there's this like mountain of infected, and they're like, oh my god, and you know, Abby's like, oh crap, you know, like it's supposed to be a big reveal, but because this scene is here, it kind of ruins it. No, I just think that that was a little bit of a, you know, whoopsie daisy. And to be honest guys, Ellie is still being a giant perra in this whole thing. She just acts like a giant know-it-all, and then when people like bring up anything to do with Joel, she like acts like such an entitled brat, and then it's like, well, why are you making a big deal out of it? It's like, girl, you're the one that's moping around about the situation. It's like what? For her and Jesse go on patrol, Maria takes them to the cook so that the cook can apologize for what he said in the first episode, which I found that scene to be fine, makes sense. It's just, I feel like, I don't know guys, it's like in the post-apocalypse, would that really be an issue that we would worry about? Everyone in the compound has either seen one of their close family members die, or they've done something horrific in order to survive. I just think that the people in the compound would have thicker skin than that. Of course, Ellie acts like an entitled brat. Granted, what he said was awful, fine, but at least he's trying to apologize. Whatever happened to second chances? No. Ellie and Jesse go out on patrol, and overall, everything with the winter and the CGI looks fine. You know, the costume design, the set design looks fine. The tension is there, like the music is appropriate when it needs to be, which I very much appreciate. However, who the hell is Eugene? Like, did I miss a season before this season? Like, who is this guy? And we're all acting as if we have some kind of emotional investment with this character when we don't even know who he is. Like, did I miss someone in the first season? Please point it out in the comment section below, because I honestly feel like I'm going crazy at this point. And apparently that's the Eugene for the therapist. I don't care. I really, ooh, and I can say so much about the therapist, but I'm gonna go into that later. I will say this, the action portion of this episode was pretty good. I liked the whole tension that it built with Abby running towards the fences and the fence kind of collapsing onto her. That was really good. And of course, that's where she meets Joel. The very man that you need to find in this compound is here. What a coinkydink. Action scene with them fighting against the infected is pretty cool. I do have an issue with the fact that they threw barrels of gas in order to set them on fire when the wall that they are standing on is made out of wood. That there are some kinds of woods that are like a little bit more fire resistant than others, but it's like, do you really have access to that variety in the post-apocalypse? You see that Dina is the one that reveals to Abby who Joel is, which I actually found fantastic, made perfect sense. She screamed out his name. Good job, show. You fixed that portion. So yeah, I mentioned the thing with the wall. Another thing that I forgot that I did write down was the dogs apparently saved the day, when it's like, okay, I guess, how many did you have? I love Tommy's character, but in this episode he had heavy duty plot armor. The infected were just walking by next to him and they didn't like turn around and attack him in any way, shape, or form. No. And of course we get to the infamous scene. So I have a few issues with this scene. This scene, even though it's supposed to be emotionally impactful, important, character defining, it felt like a giant afterthought. Why on earth would you put such an important plot point that takes place in another location, not even where the action scene is taking place? It just felt so like it didn't connect. Why would you do that? Do his death in the next episode. It made more sense, because with this it just felt like more attention was placed in the action scene and then Joel was just an afterthought, which to be frank is a little insulting. Joel say anything to Abby. The entire time that she's monologuing, which is cringe AF by the way, the whole time when she takes her hand and she's like, I can't, you're so handsome, Joel. Why is Joel just taking it? Why isn't he saying anything? Oh yeah, he did one time. The one time. Like, bro, if you know you're going to die, I would have a symphony to say. One thing I will say about Abby, that's when she reveals that Joel ended up killing her father, who was the doctor that was going to perform the surgery on Ellie. Feel for her. I do. As a daddy's girl, I do. But at the same time, you have two problems, show. Number one, we know Joel's perspective. Okay, so we know why he did it. Number two, your father was about to experiment on a child for a chance of a vaccine. By the way, they didn't tell her, so no consent was given. I'm sorry, Abby, but don't be acting as if your father was completely innocent in this entire situation, because I ain't buying it. It's just that we're running into this issue. Like, this is not enough of a justification for me to cheer or understand fully where she's coming from. I feel for her, I do, but we also know Joel and we know why he did it. And to be frank, we like Joel a little bit better than Abby. And this reasoning was not enough for me to be like, you know what? I feel for her, therefore I'm gonna root for her. It's like, ooh, that is, you're asking a lot. You really are, HBO. Bella Ramsey, oof. There were portions of her acting that were good, and then there were other portions that were subpar, and I'm not exaggerating. I'm just gonna be a massive perra right now. It's like, now you care about him? Now you care about him. You were being a giant perra this entire time, and now you're getting all sad and mopey? Nah. This is the problem, because now this is what's gonna happen. Your revenge is not for Joel, it's for yourself, because you feel like crap because you treated him like crap, so now you're gonna do something stupid in order for you to feel better. So it's all about you, it's not about Joel. That is a problem. I can't root for someone like that. Why on earth would I root for someone like that? That's doing everything for herself. And I'm sorry to say, Ellie is not that interesting of a character. Just saying. This is just me being a perra, so completely ignore me. I thought she could beat up a 6-foot guy with all sorts of muscle. Why is she having all sorts of trouble here? My final thoughts with this episode is, now what? Ellie is not that interesting of a character for me to stick around and find out more as to what is going on. And why on earth should I follow my story? She's been acting like an entitled brat this entire time. She treated Joel like crap, so therefore she's gonna go after revenge because she's just trying to make herself feel better. And I'm not rooting for Abby. I understand that she had her father killed, but to be frank, I kind of still, she's a bit of a badass, so I'm not really rooting for her either. That's a problem in this show. Am I gonna stick around to watch the rest? Sure. I'll stick around and watch the rest. Am I hopeful that it's gonna get better? What I think is gonna happen is that Ellie is gonna be the least interesting thing in this whole entire series, and everything else that the series builds around her is a lot more interesting than her. I think that that's exactly what's going to happen, and that is sad and a shame. Anyway, guys, did you disagree with me on that one? Oh, take it down to the comment section below. Leave a like and subscribe on your way there. I'm gonna try and keep up, okay? I have to record a couple other videos after this one because I watched a ton of movies this weekend, but I will see y'all for the next one. Bye!